Good morning. How are you?
I'm
I am
good,
so
thank
looking forward to
you.
chatting with you with Karen McCall, who's going to be teaching the Fab to Fabulous photography workshop this summer at the PPSNYS workshop up in beautiful Finger Lakes, New York. So as we get ready for this workshop, I've got a few questions and well, Karen, take it away. So
Take it
first
away. All
question,
right.
can
I
you
am so
go?
happy. I can hear you. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. This is our first one. This is my first interview. So,
And my
um,
first time hosting the coffee chat. So yeah, we're gonna work
so
out the
it's
kinks
going to be
today.
formal, and but we're good with that because our class will be very informal as well. I don't want to be the person up there, lecturing you. I want it to be a feedback and have questions, and sort of a hands-on type of program. So we are going to be doing digital painting, and it's Photoshop painting from Drab to Fab. And if you would like to join the Drab to Fab group that I have on Facebook, please do that because there's lots of videos and tips on there, and I will tell you that at the end. But that's just look at my site, and it's Photoshop painting from Drab to Fab. But that's what our class is going to be. And Sandra, what are my questions? So
Well, that's fantastic. And you know what? This video will be on our website as well as on Facebook. And on our website, we'll have links to everything that you mentioned today and probably more than that as well. But so my first question is, tell us a little bit about your origin story. I'd love to hear about how you got started as a photographer.
well, many moons ago, I've been doing photography for, I admit, to 30, but it's probably longer than that. And I started doing, portraiture and just your basic, beautiful photography. I've taken numerous classes. My very first class was with Don Blair, Big Daddy. If you guys know who he is, he's a
Mhm.
legend. Taught me everything I know about posing and lighting, and I would not be the photographer that I am, without his help. And many classes, week-long classes, like yours that New England used to have, but we sadly don't have them anymore. So I did that. I got my master's degree in about, I think it was 2000, is when I got my master's degree. So a long time ago. Stepped away for a little bit, raised my kids. They're now 25 and 21.
Oh,
And
same
so
ages
now,
as mine. Wow.
yeah. So now I finally have some free time to do, what I love. And so in 2016, I decided that actually 2015, I decided I need to know what Photoshop was, and took a class, and I was the student in the back of the room tearing my hair out with a splitting headache thinking, I can't do this. So I like to teach like I like to learn. It's very slow. I take the complication out of it, um, so you can follow along. I don't like to just teach. I teach the long way, show you where things are. And then you can go find the shortcuts because I was like, what's Command Z? I don't know. What is that? What's Command Z? Command zero? So it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's how I like to teach, kind of slow and
I can totally relate to that. I can never, as many times as I have those cheat sheets in front of me, I can never find them. They're never there when I need them. So
and then
that's great.
you're fumbling and you're like, okay, what command is it? So if you are a shortcut person, more power to you. But I think I talk about two, which is Command Z, which is step backwards, which is quicker for me to go Command Z, Command Z, Command Z than going into my history panel, which I could do that too. And Command J, which is duplicate copy, because I make a duplicate copy all the time. Those are the only two that I will talk about, and the rest will be all long, so you guys know where to find it, and then figure out your shortcut once you got it. Um, so I started painting around 2016, and I just fell in love with it. It was like I kept seeing all of these images, and I'm like, I want to do that, but I have no idea how. And so then I took a couple of classes in Corel painting and then digital Photoshop painting. And I just fell in love with it. And I have the passion. And if you have the passion and the desire, you can do it. You know, you have to have the passion. If it's going to frustrate you and you don't want to do it, it's not for you. But if you look at things and say, I love this, I mean, I will sit down and paint until 2 in the morning and have to force myself to go to bed when I first started. And then I painted my way through COVID, forced myself to use layers. I never used layers before 2020. Now I use layers for everything. So you will learn how to make a layer, how to make duplicate copy, how to work on those layers. And the reason why I worked on layers, let me just tell you this. I had a critique of an image that I entered. And when I entered it, Dwight Okamoto, is that how you say Dwight's name? Dwight said to me, oh, it'd be great if this girl was in the center of the circle. And I'm like, well, that'd be great, but she's on one layer and I have no idea if I moved her. One, I don't know how to move her. And two, what am I going to do with the hole behind her? So ever since then, I'm like, I've got to learn layers. And so that was my mission. So now it's really not as complicated as you think it is, people.
I think that's the same photographer who gave me a critique that was say, well, this is fabulous, but it would be so much better if there were flowers, more flowers in her hair.
There's always a way to make it so much better, but
yeah.
But in competition, it's the tiny little details. It's not just doing it. It's like it's the over painting to the painting, and it's the going over the edges at 200% and looking at your edges and making sure that everything is perfect instead of just looking at your screen and saying, yep, that's good, because an artist judge is going to pick up haloing and all of those little errors. So I'm going to show you how to fix those things really simply and easily. So we'll do a little bit of compositing, just bringing things in, changing the backgrounds out, that type of thing. Going over the mixer. I'm a huge fan of the smudge brush. The smudge, I use that more than the mixer brush. And I'm a huge fan of making it photorealistic and having a lot of detail now. It's used to start very soft and impressionistic, and that's great if that's the style that you do. But I'm going to take it one step further and show you the overpainting, which I call it, to give it that sort of that pop and that snap that you see in my images. So that's how I started, and I love crazy animals. I started with animals actually because when you paint someone's face, if you change the highlights in their face, you completely change how they look. So with animals, there's no highlights. You can make it any way you want. So that's why I started with animals, and I decided that I really like this, and I love humor, and I love personality and quirkiness, and so I think those come out in my paintings, my quirky, crazy animals anyway. But we're gonna do more than crazy animals. We're gonna do, once you learn the basics, then you can go and do anything you want. You do ballerinas, you do crazy animals, you could do landscapes, oceanscapes too.
I'm very intrigued in the idea of doing landscapes with you. So one of the things I really like about this whole workshop is that you get to spend a whole week actually working on it. So it's not like you take a 1 hour class or even an all day class and then you forget about it. You get to actually build upon it. And it sounds like you've already, you've more than put in your 10,000 hours to really master this. But tell me a little bit more about how the idea for this class originated and how you came about putting together this class.
I was kind of thrown into teaching by my home state of Massachusetts, and we have these things called photopaloozas. And the photopaloozas are meant for a way for the state to make money for the organization, and also to help anyone who's seeking their craftsman degree. Like I always said for years, I'm like, I have nothing to say. I don't want my craftsman. I've got nothing to say. And actually I spoke.
You were so wrong.
So wrong. I spoke in New Hampshire, and someone that I've known for 30 years said, Karen, I thought you used to always say you have nothing to say, you'd never teach. And I said, yeah, but I was kind of thrown into it. And I did one small class here in my studio, and it sold out just, because space wise, I could only accommodate 10 to 12 people. And so then I did another one, and that one sold out. I did a third one, and that one sold out. And so I'm like, maybe I do have something to say. So I started, then I decided that I actually liked it. I enjoyed teaching. And I also thought that, once you get to a certain level in your career in painting and you're successful in it, it's sort of time to give back. I mean, all of the instructors that I took for the past 30 years, and I've continued to take classes for those 30 years, whether it be in, landscape or portraiture or weddings or posing or, actually I took Jane Zeiser with retouching with pencils back in, I don't even know what year it was, back in the dinosaur ages with
Paleolithic era.
me. But yeah, but now we use this, now we use a pen, where before it was, you'd have 20 skin tone pencils. So, and I'm not an artist. I don't draw. I can color like nobody's business. That was what I did when I was a kid. I just colored, but I cannot draw. So don't think that you need to be an artist to take this class, because you don't. It's clone painting, really. It's painting over something that's already there. So yeah, did I answer the question?
I think so. It was
That's
interesting regardless. So, speaking about the class, what should students bring to the class?
Okay. I've had many students ask me this and say, can I paint? I cannot paint with a pen. I can tell you, you can do a lot of the actions and a lot of the tools with your mouse, but the thing you cannot do with the mouse is to put pen pressure on it. And if you're going to be painting hair or fur or bird feathers, it doesn't have that nice graduated pen pressure and that point at the end. And I see that all the time when I critique people's images, that they've painted it, but the ends are blunt. Nobody's hair grows like that unless unless you're 5 and you took the family scissors to your hair and you cut your bangs. Everything has graduated. So you really, really should have a pen. So if you're going to attempt this, I would suggest getting a Wacom tablet. And the one that I suggest that you get is the PPSNYS Pro. And I use a small. I've had a medium, but I work on a desk and the medium just takes up too much real estate on my desk. So I like the small, and I also only paint in an area that big. So I'm like, why do I need a tablet this big? So I do suggest the PPSNYS Pro with a pen, and it comes with the pen, and try to get that sort of working, because that's the hardest part of painting. Some instructors will say, put the mouse away for a week and just use the pen. You can do that. I didn't do that. I still will use my mouse to navigate, and I'll use my pen. But for hair and things like that, you need it. So
I have a terrible confession. I don't even have a mouse. I just use the trackpad on my MacBook Pro, and it's terrible. I know. I know that's not the way to do it.
I can't. I cannot use the trackpad, and it's all what you're used to. It's like I see people doing the trackpad, and I was just in Washington State, and I had a 6-hour flight, and I was trying to work on the trackpad. I'm like, I cannot do this. I need my mouse. I need something. So
well, I have to admit, I'm not very successful with the painting. I definitely need your class.
you need that, but that is it. This should be set up, and I will go over how to set this up. But if you can have this working, all of your drivers and your Photoshop, you need the updated Photoshop, or at least 2019, I think, or 2020. Okay. You need the one.
I think they're at 2023 right now, but there is I think that what I found with the 2023, there were some features that weren't working quite right. So I had to roll back and start using 2022. So it's probably not better to use the most recent version of Photoshop.
Use the one that you're, as long as it's 20 up. I like 2022. I cannot stand 2023. I keep getting this share button on my toolbar, and my toolbar keeps disappearing on me, and I do not know how to fix it. It's like,
yeah, there was something off with the panel. A lot of people were complaining about it, and they said the solution was just a rollback. So
yeah, so yeah. It sometimes it just automatically pops into 2023. So whichever one you're comfortable with, you just cannot be working on 2016. So, and I've had people take my class and they're in 2016. I'm like, well, 2016 doesn't have all of the features, and the quick selection tool is so much better in 2022 than it was in, a few versions back. So
Well, with an Adobe Creative Suite these days, it's very easy to switch. So there's no reason to stay with the
yeah,
old
you can
version.
you can have both, and I have both on my computer. I know people that have 2021 on there because they like features that were in 2021, and but yeah, you should have those. I mean, we will go over it, but that is the tech stuff. And I don't want to waste an entire day setting up people's Wacom tablets and setting up their drivers and things like that. So if you guys can get that done, and Wacom.com has an awesome website which will walk you right through it. It's seriously, if I can do it, let me tell you, you can do it.
Well, and we'll have links to all of that on the blog post. So speaking of Photoshop, what is it that students should know before they come to class? Like what level of Photoshop should they know, for example?
You know what? If I'm going to go over adjustment layers. You don't need to know anything about Photoshop, really. I mean, because I'm going to show you. It's better if you do know, because you're going to be less confusing. I don't really work with masks, but if you're a mask person, by all means, you can use the mask. But I will go over blend modes. I will go over adjustments, because that creates the highlights and shadows on all of your portraits.
But maybe it would be helpful for them to just have like a general familiarity with the workspace. And
well, you should definitely, but I don't think there's a photographer out there that doesn't know, that's going to take a painting class that doesn't know a little bit about Photoshop.
we can put like an introductory tutorial, also with the page. And
yeah, if you want, I also have, if you join, it's on my Drab To Fab page, my Facebook page.
Okay.
And you have to be a member to, you have to be accepted into the group, because I don't accept judges in there. Because I do a lot of critiques for people on there, and I don't want judges in there. So it's by invitation, but you can join it. And on there, pinned at the top, there are 2 videos. There's a video on setting up your Wacom tablet. And there's also I don't know if it's a 1 hour or a 3 hour that I did. Actually, you could probably look it up on ACI, Chris Woolley's, oh gosh, it's ACI's, what is it called? Do you know what it is?
No, but I can look it up.
My gosh.
Chris Woolley, ACI.
ACI, what does
I'm guessing has the word Photoshop in it.
No, it's not Photoshop.
Oh.
It's put out by ACI, and what he does is he has instructors. It's a great program. So American Color Imaging is what it is, ACI, the lab. And they have 1 hour programs that he asks photographers to do. And it can be on anything. It could be on posing, it could be on landscape, it can be on weddings, it can be on, and I did one on Photoshop painting. So that has all of the basics as well. So there's a link to that on, I can see if I can get you the link. Oh, what is the name of this thing? I can picture it.
Well, if it's pinned to the top of your Facebook page, I'm pretty sure I'm a member, because I took one of your classes already. And so
look at the top. There will be 2 pinned on there, and the Wacom one I did just recently. And then I also, if you scroll down in there, I've done little critiques on adjustment layers for people, on how to, how to fix their image. I'm about to do one this afternoon too. So there's little videos on that. And I also have a YouTube channel that I'm starting to get up and running. So, and the Wacom one is on there. So that's a great way. It's a great way to start, but you don't need to know, you should know the basics of Photoshop. You should know how to use, I'm going to show you how to find all the tools, but the only tools that we really use is the mixer, the smudge, the quick selection, and the brush, obviously. So those are the only ones.
Well, that's great, because what you're doing is you're making it so that the people who want to learn from scratch can learn from scratch, but the people who feel intimidated if they don't have the basic understanding, they can also do that and come in prepared to hit
Yeah,
the ground
I'm
running.
going to start, like the first 2 days, I'm gonna start, and this is what happens with any class. I'm gonna start from ground zero and give the basics of how I do things, and someone that has taken the class numerous times. And we have someone in the class that is, I mean, she's a diamond photographer. I'm like, why are you taking my class? But
I
you
bet
know
you
what?
should get something every single time.
You know what you do? I have taken classes from every artist out there, whether it be a 1 day, um, a week, an hour, because you always pick up something, or you say, oh, I like the way I'm doing. The way I'm doing it is easier. I'm going to stick with this way, or that's a good tip. So, so I'll start at ground zero and I'll go up in, so you learn exactly what you want to learn. And the people that are just starting will be working on something where the advanced person may be working on something else, and is more than welcome to ask me and say, how do I paint? I just had someone that said, how do I paint a turtle? And so I gave her some hints on how to paint a turtle. So if you have your own work, bring it along and work on it, and I will help you if you're at the medium to upper level. If you're starting right off, I will provide you with images to work on. So you're going to learn something, I guarantee it.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I wish I could take all 3 classes that are gonna be offered at the workshop because every single one sounds incredible. I think well, fortunately, I know that you're gonna be teaching other classes as well, so
Yeah.
we can take your workshop and also find you elsewhere as well.
Yes, you can. And I do have other workshops that I've done that have been recorded, that if you want to get one of those. I'm not sure which one that you took. Which one did you take? Did you
It
take
was in February. It was a 1 day, I think it was in
so
February.
you took the 1 day one. So
Yeah,
that's
virtual 1 day.
yes. So there's a recording of that 1 day, and it's in 2 parts. Did you learn anything?
I did learn, but mostly what I learned in that one is that I want to do a lot more with it, but I need to, I'm focusing on landscapes right now. So once I get some of that figured out, then I want to come back to you and work with you to do painting, do my landscapes. And one of the things I'm excited that you're doing is that it sounds like you're doing some coaching as well, some one-on-one coaching.
I do personal mentoring for anyone that is interested in that. And that is also on my Facebook Drab To Fab page. So if you want to do a private one-on-one mentoring, I usually start off with 3 hours. And it's usually someone that has already taken the class or knows the tools. Or I'll have them watch a program first before. So I want you to have it, if I start the mentoring, that information, the basic information is out there. So I don't want to waste 3 hours
Right.
talking about basic stuff that's out there for you to watch and get used to. But I will go one-on-one and help you with images that you might want to enter into competition, or a technique that you're working on. And it can be anything from how to use adjustment layers to compositing to painting. So it's basically what you want. So if you want to do something like that, reach out to me and I'm happy to do that.
Oh, I will definitely take advantage of that because I'm like this close to earning the craftsman. And of course, then there's master photographer and master artist. So
Yeah, there's,
lots of
you know what,
goalposts.
yeah, you know
Anyway,
what I say, do the master artist first. Because you can use painting in a portrait for your master artist as
oh,
well.
okay. That's good to
And
know.
then, because what that does is it makes your average image just one level up, because but just make sure it's consistent. Don't do just the hair and have an inconsistency. Judges don't like that. And then work to your artist. And the artist is getting tougher and tougher to merit in, because it's level of difficulty. So you can't just be a beautiful painter. You need to be able to add and change and morph. And now with the new IPC rules, everything you put into an artist image has to be your own, which is kind of
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I think that's actually a good rule, though. I think if
Well, it is, but if you need like a pipe or something like that, now you either have to draw the pipe or go and photograph a pipe, instead of just saying, I need a pipe, or,
I
if
see. So you almost you have to be good at product photography at that point, which is a whole different set of skills.
it is, but not really. It can be a basic because you can morph it and warp it and paint it anyway. So, most of those images that I popped in were, just low quality off, a PNG file or something that I found because it's such a tiny element in the image. But we'll talk about that too in class.
Okay, cool. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that you have told. You've really made it sound super exciting. I wish I could take your class and also the one I'm already signed up for.
I know. Well, you've already taken one. You can do
Oh,
another. There's lots of time out there to do all of it. But yes, I'm one of those people that actually I truly love what I do. I love painting. It's not a job to me, and I really enjoy teaching and giving back. So that's what I'm doing. So
all right.
thank
Well,
you so
thank
much
you.
for
Looking forward
having
to
me.
seeing you in New York. All
I
right.
can't I can't wait. All right. Have a
Bye.
good bye, guys.
And let's
How do
see.
we end?